Hi, I'm Hal Thomas, and welcome to Teaching Singing, Observation, and Practice. In the last two episodes, I spoke about the first lessons for male and female students. Now, no surprise, the topic is the second lesson. Here's all you need to do. Review everything you did with the student in the first lesson. Well, all right, there's more. But you will do a review of breathing, breath flow, and register identification. In the first lesson, I wrote out the vocalises for them on manuscript paper, a copy for them and a copy for me. Then I used my copy to construct a full vocalese routine for them, both in print and on a CD to give them in this lesson. I presume you have some sort of notation software. Finale is the one I use extensively. With it, I can create vocalese routines tailored for each student at all pitch levels necessary, and I can archive, update, and enhance them as the student progresses. Finale also allows me to save the routines as audio files that can be burned to a CD. I have an audio recording and editing program called Adobe Audition that I use to record verbal introductions and execution reminders for each series of exercises. So, when the students arrive at my studio for the second lesson, they receive a neatly notated, well-organized sheet of music containing their exercises and an audio CD of those exercises they can practice with. Even if they can't read music, the vocalese CDs are a big help. With the CD, they can practice standing up with proper posture, hands free of a piano, keyboard, or whatever they use to give themselves the pitch. They can focus on technique more easily. And they won't have to perform the mental gymnastics of transposing up and down a half step with each trial. This is Ashley. She's graciously agreed to act as a student at her second lesson. I've given her the vocalese CD and shown her the printed vocalese. I don't give the print to her right away because I use it to review what was done at lesson 1 and also to introduce one or two new vocal exercises. By now you realize I use the terms vocalese, vocal exercise, exercise, and pattern interchangeably. They all mean a repeated series of behavioral objectives designed to facilitate vocal progress. Don't you just love buzzwords? So, the review. Again, we begin with the fundamentals introduced in lesson 1. All right, Ashley, we're going to do some breathing. Put your hands on the lower ribs. Take a slow breath into the ribs, keeping the tummy relaxed. That's it. Let it out. It was quite good. Turn the hands over so you have fingers on the back. Take a slow breath again, expanding the ribs. Good. You feel the back expand?
Yes.
Very good. All right, put your hands forward again. Let the air out. We're going to take a slow breath and hold it. Here we go. Now, while we're holding the breath, we're going to flex the ribs outward 5 times, lifting the tummy to flex the ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. I want to bottle that and give it to some of my other students. All right, Ashley, we're going to do a breath flow exercise with lip trill. Slow breath into the ribs. Good. Try to keep the head level. Try to avoid looking up. Here we go. One more. Try to keep the ribs out all the way through the exercise. Hang on to the lower ribs again. Remember that exercise we did, 5 flexes? You're now going to do those 5 flexes making 5 whoos in head voice. Here we go. Right. Hold the last note a little longer, but that's pretty good. One more, slow breath. Take your time inhaling. You'll get more air that way. Put one hand under the neck. There you go, and say, ha.
Ha.
Right, that's the chest voice resonance. Let's do 5 of them, still using that rib flex. Ha, 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 ha.
Ha, 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 ha.
But make sure you have an H starting each of them.
Ha, 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 ha.
Last one. Try it on ho.
Ho, 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 ho.
At this second lesson, I often add 2 new vocalises for the student to work on as part of the daily routine. One for resonance, some call it resonance awareness, and one for articulation. Resonance, as we all know, is sympathetic vibration. Something vibrates and other things go, ah, in sympathy. Or something vibrates and that vibration is reflected and amplified by something else, a solid surface or air in a space that begins to vibrate at the same frequency. In this first resonance exercise, the main thing is to help the students sense vibration within themselves. Be prepared for some of your students to have difficulty sensing their own resonance, especially in head voice register for females. After all, we use our voices every day in speech. That's second nature for us, and we become generally unconscious of our resonance. We only seem to notice it when it's blocked, by the stuffiness of a head cold, for instance. Okay, we just did this a while ago, but we're going to do it again for resonance awareness. One hand under the neck, fingers on the clavicles, the shoulder blades. Ha!
Ha!
Hey!
Hey!
Big rib flex. Ho!
Ho!
Well done. Feel the vibration there?
Yes.
That's chest voice. Now we're going to check out head voice. If you could put a couple of fingers on the cheekbones, that's very good, and say, woo!
Woo!
Feeling that vibration in there? You're also making the piano vibrate a little bit. Wee!
Wee!
That's right. Who and E in speech work well. Also, let's show them the long face hum. Can you make a long face? Mouth closed behind the open mouth. There you go. And we're going to go, hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
You feel that vibration inside there? Very good. The long face hum turns the interior of the mouth into a resonating chamber, and students can easily feel the vibration against their teeth and in the bones of the head. Slow breath, long face hum. That's the idea. You can want a decrescendo on the way down, all right? And make sure you start the hum with a puff of air through the nose. One more time. One more. Good. Keep the mouth open behind the closed lips. Don't let it shut on you. Now try humming to an ooh. I'll signal when you go to the ooh. Here we go. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. Try it again. Right, and you want to make a second rib flex when you go to the ooh, and it does not have to be terrifically loud. You don't have to make a really violent rib flex. Here we go. One more try. That's all right. This is where mistakes come to find a home. It's okay. One last time. Good. You can also use a sustained Z, V, N, or TH, as in the word the, to help them feel that buzz of resonance. Can you sing this on Z all the way through? Very good. Slow breath. Let's try it on a sustained V. Fine. Let's try it on a sustained N, as in hen.
Hen.
Very good. And now everyone's favorite, voiced TH. Which of course tickles. Okay. One of those will usually work in getting the student to sense resonance within the bones and spaces of the head. And now a word about glottal stops. You've noticed that every vocalise used today with Ashley began with an H if the pattern used vowels, or a puff of air exhaled through the nose if a hum was used. These procedures, which should become habits in daily vocalise, ensure that the chords respond to the breath, to vibrate in reaction to the passage of air, not to the pressure of air forcing closed chords apart at the start of a vowel. Immediately, voice instructors watching this are screaming, "That's an aspirate attack! It will lead to breathy singing." The student is doomed. Well, okay, a prephonation H, good term, huh? A prephonation H is an aspirate attack, although I prefer the word release. But if you always make sure your students understand that this release is for exercise specifically, not for performance, there should be no confusion and no resultant breathy singing habits. After all, a vocalese is a sung exercise, not a sung song. That's a bit of awkward phrasing. They will not end up putting an audible H in front of every note they sing in performance. A twinkle, a little, a star. Not going to happen. As for the student being doomed, I try not to pry. A glottal stop works like this. Imagine that these two sheets of paper are your vocal cords. If you have them shut and blow air against them, with a glottal stop, hear that rattle? That's your vocal cords being blown apart. Like that. Not healthy. However, if you have the cords open and start with an H, the cords come together under the change of air pressure and vibrate much more evenly. It's much healthier for the voice. If you glottal stop excessively, by the time you're 30, you sound like an old Italian been smoking the Nobili cigars all his life. Habitual glottal stopping, which frankly is using a cough reflex to get the air moving, is hazardous not only to proper vocal production, but to vocal health. When that puff of air forces the cords open, they flutter and abrade each other. Not good. Nor do they immediately line up evenly to create the pitch. Excessive glottal stopping can lead to harsh tone, irritation, swelling, nodes, or worse. I recommend going to YouTube, if you're watching this, of course, you're already there, and check out a series called Dr. Dan's Voice Essentials. There's a link in the description. Don't go there now. Let's finish mine first, please. Jeez. Another exercise I introduced during the second lesson is one for articulation. Here's where some confusion can begin. Musicians think of articulation in terms of how sounds are to be played. Staccato, legato, slurs, accents, and so forth. A singer is a musician too, and will of course encounter musical articulation all the time. But I'm talking about language articulation. It is the mechanical and structural process we go through to produce the sounds of a language, involving the passive implementation of fixed elements of the skull and jaw, and active employment of lips, teeth, tongue, mandibles, hard and soft palates, breath, larynx, and pharynx. I also got a great definition of articulation from a 10-year-old student. She said, "Articulation is what we do to say stuff." For those of you watching who are in vocal ped classes, you may want to note that as a fine encapsulation of a concept. The articulation exercises I construct for a student make use of voiced consonants. That's what I call fricatives, another buzzword, every pun intended, that can sustain actual pitch. A voice consonant is one, of course, we can sustain pitch with. Here's a few examples. Z, v, z. And I provide a list of those voice consonants printed underneath the exercise. One of those consonants paired with an Italian vowel on each pitch of a melodic pattern gives us the articulation exercise. All right, here's the articulation pattern, Ashley. I'll play it for you first. It's the one at the bottom of the sheet. Let's take an M followed by an oo. Moo. Very good. Try Z and A. And it takes a little while for the student to get used to a new pattern. You haven't done this one yet, I know. That's all right, let's try it on N and O. Something you should say to everyone, right? Good. That's the second lesson. We reviewed the fundamentals: breathing, breath flow, register identification, and added resonance and articulation. Resonance puts us on the path to developing better tone. Articulation puts us on the path to being understood poetically, dramatically, and musically when we sing. We'll talk about assigning songs and teaching them very soon. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the overwhelming response from the millions of subscribers out there. Sorry, for a minute I thought I was Superwoman Lily Singh. If you're enjoying this series, finding it useful as a student or in your own teaching, or if you just can't believe someone started a YouTube series on this topic, please subscribe. Thank you, and see you next time.